Whole trade.
Was almost in Miami.
Whole trade.
Almost
because of the jersey number.
A whole Heatles experience.
D-Wade wanted to sacrifice
I wasn't going to
everything
D-Wade.
else.
I wasn't going to D9.
D wanted to sacrifice everything else. He didn't want to sacrifice his damn number. I tell you.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pump the Brakes, where we react to everything that is going on in the NBA. And before we get into today's episode, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, last week on the Y podcast, Dwayne Wade had Chris Paul as his guests come on, and they had an interesting segment where they talked about how Chris Paul almost went to the Miami Heat to play with the Heatos, with all the hate that was going on when LeBron James formed a super team between Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Imagine if Chris Paul went to the Heat during that time. Imagine the amount of toxic fans that would have came out and slandered them and hated on them. I mean, it would have been must-see basketball for me. I think that would have been way worse than what Kevin Durant did going to the Warriors, because if Chris Paul was on that team, I think he would have stopped the Warriors dynasty. Because imagine, he doesn't have to do all the playmaking. He doesn't have to carry the load in scoring. And you have a guy in LeBron and Wade who can take that off your shoulders. And they were talking about, how they could run an offense together. They were getting excited. Imagine if that came together. I think, in my opinion, the Heat probably would have won like 5 or 6 championships, because even if Wade, he got older, his knees were starting to wear out because of, all the wear and tear before LeBron got there. He didn't have to take on that scoring load as much. And Chris Paul could have changed his role a little bit, and LeBron might have stayed. And if you have Bosh, LeBron, Chris Paul, and D Wade after that 2014 embarrassment with the Spurs, and they just reload and add role players and got a little bit younger, oh my goodness, this would have been some nasty stuff. And it would have been so toxic, because the league might have not liked it, or the fans might not, or the fans would have liked it. But man, for Chris Paul's legacy, getting 4 championships, 5 championships on the Miami Heat.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Being the leading point guard, being the catalyst after all those years of playing with the Hornets, and then you didn't go to the Clippers, you decide to go to Miami. Wow, that would have been insane. Like, this dude could have played with Kobe. I know the trade got rescinded, and could have played with LeBron James. And just imagine the amount of narratives and the scenarios that would have happened, and how it could have affected other legacies like Steph Curry. He might have not had a championship. Maybe he would down the road, but it would have been very difficult beating the Miami Heat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play the clip of what Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade had to say about that trade almost happening, and I'll give you my thoughts.
But the first one I want to speak about, do you remember so everybody talks about the trade that did not happen when you did not go to the Lakers, right? No one still understands it, right? Even though people have explained it.
You talking about Miami?
But do you remember the call with Brian, you and I, when we were thinking about when Riley wanted to trade to bring you to Miami?
Absolutely.
You remember us getting on the phone?
I was sitting in my condo, and CJ was sitting. CJ was sitting on the couch, right? If you go back to my brother, always there. CJ was sitting on the couch, and we was talking about me coming to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We was talking about me coming to Miami. We was talking about who gonna have the ball in their hands, how it's gonna work.
We having a conversation.
Yep, we having a conversation, right? And then who was it? Was it CJ? Was it CJ that said something about who gonna wear number 3?
Bro, that's what I wanted to get to. We talk about all this about who gonna have the ball. Okay, we can all play together now. CP, I can play off the ball. We done figured all that out. And then somebody said, well, who gonna wear number 3? Silence.
Listen.
Messed the whole trade up.
That's why the trade ain't happened?
Messed the whole trade up because CP could wear number 3 in Miami. Messed the whole trade up.
I don't know what they was gonna do. Because you was older, you probably could have just wore 33.
No, I wasn't older.
You was older than me.
I was in my prime.
I know, but because you older than me, you just wear 33.
No. See, and so this is the conversation we're having, and I'm like, that's my number. He's like, well, that's my number.
Yeah, what we gonna do?
CP6?
No, that ain't it.
The basketball number means so much that.
So you saying we didn't get a chance to see this trade because of a number 3?
Man,
that's what I'm saying.
Listen,
wow.
I'm saying the trade didn't go down. Riley didn't pull the trigger. Because CP wasn't going to be able to wear number 3 because he could have Miami.
Could have 2 number 3s.
Listen, let me tell you. We had talked for a while, too. We had talked about what the team would look like.
Bro, we started getting excited.
We had talked about what the team would look like, all this different type stuff. And then I think it was CJ that was sitting over there. He was like, what number you going to wear? What number am I going to wear? What number he going to wear?
And that ended the whole conversation, everybody.
You know how the football teams, like 2 guys be having a number? We just gonna have to do something.
That's why I didn't go down. I remember when that question was posed, I was sitting there like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, just get another number. And CP like, no, like I'm whole trade.
Was almost in Miami.
Whole trade.
Almost
because of jersey number. A whole Heatles experience.
D-Wade wanted to sacrifice
I wasn't going to
everything
D-Wade.
else.
I wasn't going to D9.
D wanted to sacrifice everything else. He didn't want to sacrifice his damn number. I tell you, man.
Listen, I sacrifice not getting touches. I sacrifice not getting the articles read and not getting the most money. But I am not giving up my number. I have not switching my number, so it didn't happen.
Now, as you saw there, Chris Paul didn't come to Miami because of a jersey situation. Now, some fans are like, well, why didn't you come to Miami? You could have won championships. You could have added more to your legacy. And I get that. 12-time All-Star, 2-time gold medalist, 4 first-team All-NBA, 3 second-team All-NBA, 6 times in steals leader. I mean, this guy has a resume of a top 5 point guard to me. You don't think he's top 5? That's just your opinion. But with that being said, a jersey? Really? You know, it makes you wonder, like, why he didn't go. But I get it. Like, I understand. You love your jersey. Like, imagine CP4, CP5, CP6, CP7. Like, that doesn't ring the same way, right? CP3, however, does. And players love their jerseys. And I can understand why he wouldn't want to join a team where obviously he would have to sacrifice, right? His numbers wouldn't be the same. He might not have made as many all-star appearances because for the betterment of the team and, you know, not getting as many touches, not many opportunities to score points. It would have been interesting to see how that plays out, right? I think he probably would have still made some all-star games, but just because of his name alone. With that going on and having to change your jersey, I get it, right? Because Dwayne Wade said himself, I'm not going to give up my jersey. Like, I'll give up money, I'll give up, you know, scoring, but I'm not going to give up my jersey because it's Wade County. Like, Wade is a pillar stone in the Miami Heat culture and in the franchise. So imagine going, okay, Dwayne Wade's number 4, number 5. Like, that's weird. Even when the Olympics went on, you know, it was weird seeing them in different jerseys. I'm not going to lie. It was like a little strange. Like, that's not what they wear normally, right? But that just shows you, like, the players care about this. And I know Chris Paul never got a ring yet, but he did get to the finals with the Phoenix Suns. They had a 2-game-to-none lead against the Milwaukee Bucks. They should have closed that series, and they didn't. And ever since then, he hasn't gone back to the finals, right? Hopefully he does. I hope he has like a Jason Kidd-like ending. Remember when Jason Kidd was on the New Jersey Nets, he had Richard Jefferson, he had Kenyon Martin. That team went back-to-back finals appearances. Lost to the Lakers, Shaq and Kobe. Lost to Tim Duncan, David Robinson in that dynasty Spurs. And obviously, it's, you know, it was hard to overcome those challenges. But what happens? Fast forward to the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Kidd is in town. He's not the same guy anymore, but he plays a different role. And what happens? He gets a championship. He plays a big role on that roster and on their championship run. He was phenomenal and huge for them, made some big shots and did his job. That's what I hope happens to Chris Paul. I hope he goes to a team where, yeah, okay, he wants to join a super team. Do it, bro. I want to see him get a ring. I really do. You know, obviously he'll be on a lesser role. Maybe have to come off the bench like he is with the Warriors. But my thing is this, he should be focused on that now. Like, he has a legacy that is going to go on forever. You know, he is a top 5 point guard to me. All he needs is that championship. When he made the finals, I was really happy for him, especially one in the Clipper Stadium where he played all those years. To beat them in a game 6 was phenomenal, right? But again, he just needs to get just one ring. That's what I hope for him. And I know he'll probably get some backlash because, like, well, why didn't you just go to Miami right away? You know, you could have won some championships. And, you know, he had his reasons. And I love what Chris Paul had to say later in the podcast. This is what is really cool. Sometimes, you know, when you get in these situations when you want to pair with your friends, you got to be ready to have hard conversations where what if it doesn't work out? Because these scenarios happen. Not everybody's going to win a championship, right? Only one team prevails, right? And, you know, if you have those conversations where you guys don't get to the finish line and win, how is the other player going to feel? You know, and if you can't have those conversations where you can hold each other accountable, then it's going to ruin the friendship. So it's probably better not to join that team. And there's a guy who came to my mind. It was Carmelo Anthony. And I thought to myself, well, why didn't he decide to go to the Chicago Bulls when he was a free agent? He could have played with a Derrick Rose. I believe Jimmy Butler was on that team. He had Joakim Noah at the time. Why didn't he go there and decide to stay with the New York Knicks for the money? And maybe what Chris Paul said rings a bell here. Obviously, I'm speculating, but what if Carmelo was thinking, man, I have great friends there, but I really want to put our friendship on the line to win a championship? It might not be worth it in the long run. So maybe that was going through his head. But to Chris Paul's point, this is really good because we think about, well, why doesn't Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid play together again? They used to play together in Philadelphia. They seem like a good fit. Why doesn't Joel Embiid want to go to Miami and play with Jimmy Butler, right? And maybe it's just not a good fit. Maybe the thing is they have a great friendship, but they don't want to sacrifice that friendship because, I don't know, there could be something going on, and Embiid doesn't want to get in the way of Jimmy Butler because he's so competitive, right? You see him in the playoffs, he's just on a different level. I don't know. But it makes you wonder about certain superstars, why they don't pair up, why they don't join together because of these situations, right? And when these things happen, the chemistry gets ruined, and guess what? You got to start from ground zero. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. Make sure you leave your thoughts on what you think about CP3 almost going to the Miami Heat. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode.